when somebody who goes through the same experience as you tells you to calm down than somebody that, I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that doesn't really had a business.
They would piss me off, actually.
Yeah.
Go away, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, Leylah.
How are you today?
I'm good, I'm very good.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, I'm happy to be here, excited to get my nails done.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that you said yes for this interview. We've known each other for a little while, and you're a very inspiring person to me.
Oh, you're so nice to say that.
Well,
and you're an amazing worker. I'm happy to have you at Tommy.
Well, thank you. And so let's start this interview just to present yourself at Tina, and
perfect, yeah.
Let me know how do I say your family name
properly? Nobody knows how to say it, don't worry. My name is Tina Mavromichalis.
Okay.
And I'm Greek origin. That's why the name is a bit long and complicated. It's actually Martina Mavromichalis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where has it changed for like a
Tina,
yeah.
From day one, my family called me Tina. My grandmother's name was Martina, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tina, you're born here in Montreal, Canada.
Exactly, born here in Montreal, Greek Canadian. Studied here, went to high school, had my university degree in biochem, but never worked in that field.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of brought you to choose biochem?
Honestly, I have no idea really. One chemistry teacher told me, "Oh, you're meant to be a chemist," which she was wrong because clearly I didn't follow that path. But I think I just went into science for that. And but in the end, I was in restaurants from younger, and then chose to be a stay-at-home mom a lot of the years until I came to this point where now I own the cafe.
Yes. So when you started working in restaurant, what was your first experience?
My first experience was actually at Nichols. I don't even know if they're around anymore. So it was a pretty big restaurant, quick-paced.
Yeah. I think the last one was on St. Hubert. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah, I don't know either which ones have left. I know there's one in Saint Laurent, anyways.
Okay.
But most of my experience is from my dad's restaurant, which was Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of my experience was there.
Your dad had one Baton Rouge, or?
No, actually, my dad and uncle started the chain.
Oh, wow, okay.
So the franchise began with them, and I used to work as a hostess when I was young. Like I started at 17, 18 years old, and then just evolved to a little bit of managing. I even helped in other cities because they opened a store in Toronto, so I helped open up mostly hostesses I was responsible for, but still, a type of managing position. But then I got married very young. I got married at 22, which is very rare.
It is, yeah.
So I really stopped working around 25. So I didn't work that long in the field because I had my first child then. So I stayed at home with her.
And for the first time that you had your job at Baton Rouge as a hostess, at that point in time, your dad and his family members had how many restaurants? Was it just one?
At that point, it was about 3, 4 that were running, but it was expanding. They were opening more, about maybe 10 while I was still working. But to be honest, I was more or less in one location.
Okay.
Actually, when I got married, my husband at the time, because now I'm divorced, was owning the one in Anjou.
Oh, okay.
So I was semi-owner, I guess, you were asking, but I wasn't really the one that was on top of everything. I was more of a partner and doing some of the managing positions.
I understand. And when you were working, or you saw your dad opening these restaurants, did that made you or inspired you at any point in time to do the same as him?
That's a great question, actually. I have to be honest, no, which is funny because I didn't want to be in the field, but now looking back, I'm the biggest teacher of my life was my dad, because he was the type that we'd even have dinner at home and it'd be either restaurant talk, business talk, or golf that he loves.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm I learned a lot from him that I have used now. A lot of things, about consistency, cleanliness, how to run a restaurant.
Yeah.
So even though at the time I didn't think that I really cared, I was annoyed by the speeches, now they've inspired me in my life, to use them myself, everything that he was talking about.
So when you were saying that you didn't want to be in that field, like was it almost like a rejection that you had? Like
No, not at all, not at all. I just didn't think I wanted to be in that field. I'll be honest, it was also my parents' influence because they were in restaurants. They didn't want me and my sister to follow that. They wanted us to follow education.
Yes.
And that's why I went into, actually my sister's a doctor. She ended up in medicine. So maybe that's why I went into science. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Another big mistake because I can't even stand going for a blood test. But it was, I just thought I was going to be something else, like maybe a teacher or a doctor, you know.
But you did touch a very sensitive point where it's true that immigrant parents, when they decide to move somewhere and make that sacrifice and start a business, they don't expect their kids to do the same things as they did.
Exactly.
At the opposite, they're always kind of moving towards the education part.
Big time. Mine were a lot. Yeah, they were really pushing that. It worked for my sister because she ended up in that field, but me, here I am. I ended up in restaurants, which I find is a great area anyways. Yeah, if you're in a good, successful business, it could be, you know, just as thrilling as being, you know, in a different position.
I find that restaurants, anything that has to do with food, it's not as, it's very different than any other business. It's a very it's a product that has an expiration date.
Yes.
You cannot just, you know, leave it there for 6 months and sell it later.
Yes, exactly.
And you always have to be putting orders, making sure everything is available. And but you did have a kind of like that experience with your parents growing
Very
up.
much, yes.
And what made you kind of like change or click that you didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom anymore?
Honestly, my kids are much older now. They're 22 and 18.
Yeah.
And also it was circumstances of my personal life. I ended up separating and I'm like, well, no, I need to do something on my own. So initially I didn't take that route. I started as a manager in a barber shop, actually. It looks similar to this. I don't even know why I did that, but I applied for very different fields, from clinics to touch biochemistry to other things. I did not apply in any restaurant thing. That's the funny part.
You had enough of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I started there as a manager of that barbershop, and I have to thank that owner. She sort of gave me the confidence, because you know, you think you're ready to do something, but I had not worked for many years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I was scared of it.
Yeah.
But being good in that position and having her feedback at that, you know, I helped her so much. She was a very nice boss. I'm like, you know what? I need to do something on my own. So I reached out and inquired. I'm friends with the Foodtastic owner. So that was another benefit, right? Because it opened doors to me for them to give me ideas of what I could do. I didn't have to start just from scratch, completely inspiring the idea.
Well, it is a franchise too, right, Tommy? Yeah. So it does come with a very set amount of rules and products that you don't need to make research for orders.
Yes, so it makes it easier for sure, yeah.
But it's a system that works because Tommy, one of the most Instagrammable places in Montreal.
I was very lucky, with that location.
Yeah, it's they know what works, and it's kind of like a pre-made plan to be like, okay, well, you just have to keep it up and
exactly more maintenance and that's it.
So when you were at that salon, how long were you working?
It was
there?
Long, was a year, and I right away reached out to see what I could do on my own. And it wasn't even me that found Tommy. They recommended it to me. Okay. And to be honest, when I heard Old Montreal, I'm like, there's no way. I'm not going to be driving because I live in Saint Laurent.
Yeah, it's a tricky part because it could be very short.
Yeah, it could be not bad if there's no traffic, but if there is, you're looking at 45 minutes, you know?
Yeah, to just go work.
I know, but when I saw it, I'm like, no, this is a very, original place. It's very charming. It's the old building. It was an old bank once upon a time, Tommy. So it's in a very beautiful building, which is hard to
architectural
the moldings
space.
are like from 1920 something. It's a very, very old, maybe even older. So, and of course, seeing how busy it was and actually getting information, I'm like, no, this is an amazing idea for me. And it wasn't very big because I was scared. I was going to do it on my own. Yeah. So I couldn't embark on a bigger restaurant. So that was enough.
It's when you told your friends or family that maybe you wanted to start your business or to have a restaurant? What was their reactions at
Honestly,
first?
very positive reaction. A lot of, oh yeah, you could do this. It's amazing. You should do it. So yeah, I had a lot of support. Of course, I reached out to my parents. I had to ask my dad's opinion if he would think it's something that would work, because I really value his opinion. And of course, he said yes. So then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to invest in it. So yeah, it was a very good choice in the moment when I did it.
So in the moment...
Yeah. Why do I say that?
Yeah, but I mean, in the moment, it was...
I know. I was very excited. It was actually November that the decision was made, November 2019. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to sign, etc. It's going to come soon. We delayed very much, and the signing was arranged for March 13th. COVID talk had started. But for us, we still thought it was a joke. It wasn't still in North America very serious. We're like, oh my goodness, yeah, we were freaking, but no one really understood. The signing was for March 13. I went in a little bit hesitant because there was already talk, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what if, what's going on? But I did sign. That weekend, amazing, very happy. I was so proud. The store was busy.
Over the moon, probably.
Yes. And that Sunday, literally 2 days later, our premier logo started talking about closures and how serious COVID was. So in a week, I had closed.
Wow.
So it was very, very, very difficult from so many points of view. Number one, I was petrified. I'm like, well, the account is at zero and we're closing. There's rent to pay, there's this and this. The workers was a very big challenge. They were pressuring for me to close. It was a lot of young workers. They, were like, well, why are we open? So I didn't want to initially. So that was a bit scary. And in the end, we had to. And it was a very, very scary time. On top of it, the subsidies that were provided, any business after March 1st, I wasn't applicable.
Oh my God,
so that was crazy. In the end, there was an exemption where if you were an existing business and you just changed the Quebec Inc., you were entitled. So that did save, this is what saved me, I have to be honest. And here we are now, that's forgotten. It was an experience. It was very tough, but, it was all still worth it because it's a very good business.
So how long were you closed for, like completely closed? No
literally
walk-ins?
From March, I think it was 20 to May 9. I remember when we reopened. So May 9, but then there was a million more challenges because then we couldn't have people sitting down. You can only do takeout. They reclosed us a second time. It was just... it was almost like a joke when you look back. It was very, very, very bad on restaurants. So that was very mentally draining. A lot of restaurants couldn't even survive. A lot of them are closing now because they never caught up.
So many places in Montreal right now, spaces are closed and they're still not
very
rented.
Sad. Yeah, very sad. And even the ones that stayed open have a challenge to catch up. I was very lucky. Coffee is one of the areas where people didn't stop. They didn't stop. It was like a pizza place or a fast food joint. They still kept on coming for their coffees. So we were able to survive. It was very good for me. It was not something that was negative. I'm never going to regret buying it, even with all that craziness that I went through.
So when on May 22nd?
May 9th, we reopened,
May 9th that you reopened, people still came in. I feel like during COVID, that was our only time that we could go out and have an experience, go grab a coffee and go for a walk.
Exactly.
So did you see people right away coming in or did it take
honestly,
time?
the first day I would say was my family and friends that gave me half my sales.
Oh, very nice. Support is support.
Which was
a win
wonderful.
Is a win.
I'm never going to forget it because I'm Greek and we don't charge like our family usually, but like they were all insistent. So it was very wonderful to have that support. But as soon as people knew, I saw how the sales were going up. It was still very tough. It was never to the level of when it was open before. But slowly it re-caught. Actually, that summer was really great because people were desperate to be out. So it was good because they had allowed the sitting. So I had a great summer. But then they reclosed. That was the harsh one because it was October till... I don't remember. I want to blank all this out. I think it was October to June.
And
it was no one could sit. That was very long, very tough to have workers. It was just a very challenging time, but it was okay. It was okay. Sales-wise and subsidy help, it was fine for me, that part.
At that point in time, did Uber was already a thing?
Not in my restaurant.
Okay.
I had to add it. But I need to say, Uber really did not save me. I wasn't like those places. Like a lot of restaurants did survive on Uber. Not for Tommy. It's more coffee. It was more people just coming in to get their lunch or with coffees. You know, it was not Uber that saved me at all. I actually don't even really want it because they take so much of percentage.
Yeah, they're not really helping in the
No,
end.
in a way,
Yeah,
like they're not, you know, it's tough unless you put your prices higher on Uber, but they don't really do that, you know, with Tommy.
Well, yeah, because it's not only your franchise that would have to do that, it has to be all of them. So to take a decision for all the franchise takes obviously a long time.
Yeah.
And now that you've been official, I think in March, sorry, it's going to be officially 3 years.
Yeah. Actually, next March is going to be 4 years.
4
I can't believe
years,
it myself because it was 2020. So next March is going to be 4 years.
And how do you feel about that? Like kind of seeing like what you went through. And
Best decision that I ever made. Personally, I think I needed to work. I was feeling a bit of an emptiness in my life. Like raising my kids is amazing. I got the great opportunity of being home. There's something wonderful about that. But once they start getting a bit older, you're lacking a type of challenge. You're like, well, they don't really need me going to the gym and to Adonis. It's not a fulfilling life.
No.
And I think I sort of wish I had worked even earlier. It's something that I wish I had done in my life, but it's okay. And best thing I've ever done. I'm very happy. I mean, some days I just want to throw my phone away. There's problems always. The ice machine breaks. The coffee machine isn't working. The worker doesn't go in. It's a daily mental stress. But it's okay. It gives me a challenge, and it's better than having nothing to do. I really enjoy what I've learned from the process, you know?
It probably, like it gave you a purpose. Like,
yes, big time. It was a great challenge, and it still is, because there's always something to do, you know? The fact restaurants is a very people person type of, so I love that part. I love that there's the customer service, you interact with many people. So I really enjoy it, period. I don't feel strained going to work. I enjoy it.
You did talk about or mention stress and mental. Did you expect the mental load to be what you were expecting?
Zero. I wasn't prepared for that part. I have to be honest, when I first bought it, I was, because I knew Mr. Mamas, the owner, I'm like, please keep me down for this. Oh, are you okay?
That should be a blooper.
That's funny.
Sorry, but you knew the owner.
Yeah, exactly. I knew the owner, so I go to him, please keep me for the second location. I want to do the 2.
Okay.
So I was being greedy without even knowing what I was getting into. I was like, I'm going to do this, and then I'll go into a second one. Because I was looking at it smaller than a Baton Rouge. I'm like, how tough can this be? Yeah. As soon as I went in, I felt like a lost puppy. I'm like, okay, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't. I had to learn how to do payroll, how to do ordering. It's very different managing the outside of a restaurant and just, fixing schedules. And very different having to deal with orders, problems that occur all the time, breaking things. So that was a big lesson. I'm like, I don't think I could do this, I felt. Like there were moments where I'm like, no, I can't do this, I'm giving up.
Like did you have a moment where you really thought like, how am I going to do this?
Yes,
like,
I did very much. Not to give up. I shouldn't have said that word because nothing will make me give up. I'm one of those that just gets up and no matter what, I'm going to do it. But I did feel very overwhelmed at times. And, luckily I survived. That was okay. And I love Tommy so much and love being there that helped because it's something that I was enjoying. So like a client being happy or someone coming in and saying hi or my workers being good and seeing them, it gives me a joy. So I just feel good being in the environment and I was able to survive with all the pain that it was bringing.
By putting orders and doing things that you were not used to, like doing payroll and all that, like, is there some mistakes that you have done that you
100%,
that you could look back and be like, oh my God.
Overstaffing or low confidence and, a lot of mistakes probably. But in the end, somehow, because Tommy was existing, it was running itself too. So it was never like, oh my goodness, it's going to all go downhill because it already had a very wonderful system, but I wanted to enforce my own system. So that was tough too. Because there were existing workers and they had a hard time seeing a new owner there. It was very difficult because before Tommy, the actual owner, Mr. Thomas, was not really there. It was a little bit independent. The workers were very... And then all of a sudden, here I am showing up. They're probably thinking, why are you here? So it was a challenge, you know?
It's always like that when there's a new manager that comes in a restaurant or in a, I don't know how it is in corporate or in offices, but like, you know, like you get a new boss and everybody gives a little bit of a hard time, you know? Like
that was actually my biggest challenge because my personality is a little bit of a controlling personality. But I didn't want to go in acting like, oh, here I am and I'm going to tell you what to do. I wanted to be the nice person coming in to be liked, but I also wanted to show, well, look, you're going to have to listen to what I'm saying. Very tough for me because I wasn't used to it. I wasn't doing it before. And I think that was one of my biggest struggles. I have to be honest, my first firing, I almost had a mental breakdown because I cannot do it. And you know me working for me, like I have an easy time and telling you what you need to do and giving the rules, but I cannot just, you know, hurt someone or fire them unless they've really done something. So the first one was very, very tough. After that, though, I understood, you know, many people were like, it's your business. Like it's like your home. And I thought of that and I'm like, yeah, I have to react like that. But you still need to be good with your workers. It's a very extreme balance, like a good balance you need to have, or they don't want to work for you. They are everything. Your workers are everything. Like they're who represent your business.
Well, even when you walk into a space, you can tell when the manager or that the workers are not happy. You can tell. Like,
I know. And I hear so much. Even my son just got a job and I'm like, you see, you should come to Tommy. Because he's writing to me, oh, I heard this and this. I'm like, oh, you thought I was tough. I'm like, I'm not that tough. I let go of things. I'm just a bit annoying. I'm like, I like cleanliness. So I write a lot to the group. You know, I can get annoying, but I'm not too tough.
But in all honesty, Tina, like for the times that I've been working at Tommy, like you are a very good manager. I like how you manage and you're very understanding.
Yes, I want to be. I want to be. It's in my nature anyways. And, you know, I hope the workers see that and feel it. I hope, you know.
They do.
Yeah, thanks. I hope. Yeah, that's good.
So out of like managing the business and because you've been doing it by yourself, but have you had anyone that has come in and helped you in moments of crisis?
Look, my family has been everything to me. I've reached out, obviously, to my parents for questions that you know they could help me with, but not as much too, because my dad is the old-fashioned Greek man, so I want to act like I'm doing everything right.
Without asking him.
Exactly. But I am seeing someone, because I've been now separated for more than 4 years, and he's been a very big help for me. He's in restaurants, so a lot of support from there. I'll call him for all advice. He even does little things. Mental and emotional support too, but even for the business to give me some advice on things that I need, things that I didn't know. So that's been amazing. I have a very big group of friends. I'm very big on friends. So I reach out to my friends, you know, like to vent or, you know, they haven't really helped me with the business at all. I don't reach out to them for that, but they've helped me to detach and to just know I have my friends and they're there for me.
Do you feel like venting is a big part of like for you to keep things a little bit more stable for yourself?
I don't know if it's a Greek thing. I don't know if it's my personality thing, but definitely. I'm always like, even my own kids. I turned into my parents. I go home and I'm venting about my problems. I'm like, I can't believe this. The Wi-Fi doesn't work. They're like, we don't want to hear you, Mom, but they do. So they're there for me too, very much. So I find that does help me, talking about it and just, you know.
How is it now that you are kind of like in your parents' shoes?
Because you it's crazy.
That, like how do you feel
Honestly,
about that?
You never really think you are. You don't realize it. I don't know about others, but I still feel like I'm, 25 or something. I don't believe it. I see my kids and I'm like, who are these people? But you do learn a lot. You realize how tough it is, you know, and how different it is to try and raise kids and work and just to be responsible for everything on your own. It's an awakening, you know, you're like, but I've had that for a while now. Ever since I had kids, I'm like, oh, okay, this is not the same life.
Oh, no.
Now there's these little beings depending on you. And you don't expect how they have their own personality. They become their own people. So it's like everything you do doesn't even matter at some point.
No, it's like, sometimes it doesn't matter if you are cool or not. You're just whatever they want you to be.
Exactly. So that's tough on its own. Being a parent is the biggest job, way bigger than whatever I'm dealing with at Tommy, that's for sure,
How do you manage kind of like a balancing both, like being at home, being in your relationship that is, I don't know if you live with your partner?
No, not yet. No. So it is tough because there's the kids, look, honestly, I'm lucky that they're older because now they have sort of their own life. They don't need me as much. Okay, I'm an Uber driver sometimes for them, but they don't really need what they needed younger. Younger, it would be much tougher to be in this. I still have many mental breakdowns. I go home and I'm like, you need to wash your clothes. I can't do everything. So definitely it's very hard because very hard. It's easier because they're older. And somehow I make it work. It's like you don't even know how you're doing it. The whole day you go crazy and then it's 10 o'clock and you finally sit and you're like, okay, there was another crazy day. You don't even realize how you've balanced it all. I'm very lucky, I have to say. I don't have a shift at Tommy. It's not like I'm required there from 8 to 5 or anything like that. So I'm very grateful for that. It's a busy enough place. I have very good workers. I have our kitchen manager who oversees a lot of things. So I don't need to be there. So I could take a break. If I haven't caught up in my housework, I take a day. If I want to do something with the kids, I take the day. Very lucky from that point of view. It's not like a corporation where I need to be there Monday to Friday.
No, you don't have to be there on a schedule, but also I think a lot of business owners sometimes have the difficulty of detaching themselves from the business.
Very difficult. I'm almost addicted to the camera on the phone. I'm like, is it busy? Let me see. Are they good? I'm writing to them. Yes, you're right. Very much. And people have advised me that. They're like, put the phone away. I'm like, I can't. Like, if I'm not there, who's going to deal with, something going on? So yes, that one is a tough one. I don't really detach unless I'm on vacation. I try my best, but even on vacation, if something's needed, I'm gonna do it.
So was there a point where you were really kind of like, okay, I need to detach myself from this. This is getting too much, or that you really felt like that was kind of like a line that you crossed?
Not really. I'm okay. Like, yes, I have my days where I just want to explode.
Of course.
But then the next day I'm like, okay, life is great. I remember I go to a dinner with friends and I feel better and my kids are having a good day. So I'm like, no, everything's amazing. I'm so lucky. And then the next day again, I just want to,
It's like what I have been doing.
I want to run away. I'm moving to another planet, not even country. But no, mostly I'm fairly content. I feel I have a good balance. I think so. I feel lucky to be able to do that.
So even though you're balancing your family, your relationship, the business itself, in moments where you feel like you are very stressed, do you have any tricks or things that you do to kind of like...
Yeah, great question. I do work out. Put it here?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I work out for sure. I find that's very helpful. I actually have finished my fitness training degree. And, I like to eat though, so.
Okay, yeah.
I don't look as I would want to look, but it's okay.
But you look great to me. Like, I want to look like you after I have 2 kids.
That's where I need to balance better. I need to balance my eating and going out and my training and, anyways, that's a struggle. But that's a whole other topic. But so working out definitely makes me feel better. I actually still teach. I forgot to add that. I teach, put it here. Yeah. I teach 3 times a week, Monday and Wednesday evening. It's a really small studio. It's called Pilates Bois-Franc, and I do like a boot camp style class. And to be honest, I've kept it more because it forces me to do my workout.
Okay, oh, there you go, yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that because some Mondays I'm like, I don't want to go to this, but after I leave, I'm like, you see, that's why I do it, because it makes me feel better. That, definitely my social life. I'm very big on like going out for a dinner, going out for a drink with friends or with who I'm with. I need to have those parts. If I don't, I just don't feel like I'm getting anything good out of life. I want to have a balance,
Yeah, well, it cannot be always work. Yeah. Like at some point you do have to enjoy yourself and the little things in life.
Exactly. So that's really what I do. So yeah, I find that, and I don't really do a lot. Like my nails, I was excited because I do them myself. I don't even do that. Hair, I do it on my alone, well, except for my dye, because now we're getting up there.
Yeah.
White hair has come out. But other than that, I don't really do a lot of those things, which I should. You know, sporadically lately, I've been getting a massage.
Okay, yeah, well, that's...
So that's nice. Yeah, I fit it much more than in the past. I used to maybe do it once a year. That's it. I find my social time with friends or with my person is what really makes me happy, or family, like to go out with my kids, and that makes me happy. That to me is mentally detaching from work.
Yeah, like it's what helps you to detach and to not think of it.
Or even a simple sitting on the couch and watching a favorite show. I really enjoy that too. So yeah.
What have you been watching lately?
I'm still on Grey's Anatomy and things.
Yeah.
I love all those types of shows.
Like I've never watched Grey's Anatomy, but people who are into
stupid things like that. Yeah,
people that are into it, they are into it.
Exactly.
You're a believer now.
Yeah, exactly. So anything like that, or a nice movie is fun.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And your kids are all grown now.
Yes, I have one in university, one is in college. So Yanni's in Vangé, he's going into his second year.
Okay.
And Dimitra is in McGill finishing next year.
Okay.
They're good. They help at the cafe, which I'm happy.
Yeah, I love working with
for a while.
them.
Yeah, she loves you too. And she likes working there. My son works a bit with my ex and at Tommy, but he's still young. You know, I was one of those, well, I'm not even 18, you know.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm like, too bad, you can come and help. And yeah, they're good. They're good. I've pushed for them to education. I guess whatever I learned from my parents, I'm pushing. And
well, it's not going to hurt them, right?
No. And whatever they want to do is good. I don't really care. I'm not one of those. I don't care. As long as they're happy, because after all my life experience, I'm like, you need to do something that you love.
Yeah.
Forget, you need to be this or need to be that. You don't need to be anything. You need to be happy. You know, of course, yes, you do need to make money. Whoever undermines that having a job that pays isn't important. Of course, it's important. There's life expectations. You need to pay rent and everything. But, you know, as long as they're happy, I really push for that. So they're good. They're good. I'm proud of my kids, you know. It's still a challenge some days. The fighting is there consistent.
At their age, do they still fight each other?
They fight. I fight with them. We're all fighting. It's some yelling crazy house.
Is that Greek or is that just?
I think that's Greek. Very my personality. I'm a nervous person, and obviously I made my daughter like that. She's a nervous person. But you get each other. I hate that. I look back and I'm like, I'm gonna work on that, and I'm not gonna be like that. And yet I still am. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just instinctual. So
I know, it's my
much
personality. You have to work on it to be calmer, you know? And I do, I try to, but no, with age I'm actually worse. Less tolerance, less patience, you know?
The blood is boiling more and more.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Sometimes I feel like if I'm trying to calm down, not all the time, but sometimes it's just accumulates, and I'm like, okay, I need to find a way to take out that energy.
Yes, I know. I think maybe that's why I'm like that. Like, because sometimes it gets to an explosion, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to work on that. My kids have said, I think you're not well, Mom. Yeah, I'm like, I know, you're right. I think all kids say that. But
yeah, it's like I went through childbirth. Obviously, I'm not okay. Like
exactly. Yeah.
But you can put it here.
Oh yes, sorry.
Do you feel like when you do workouts, it kind of helps you get that energy out? And
yes, 100%. That's one of the things that I enjoy. You know, it's a natural high when you work out, or even just going for a walk. We have a dog now, which I'm saying it like that because I never wanted a pet, and they brought it without asking me.
When was that? I didn't know.
That was 2.5 years ago, and now I'm in love with him. But yeah, obviously I help out a lot. Leave it both, yeah.
Perfect. There you go.
So yeah.
What's the name of your pet?
Tommy. Yeah, that was another trick.
Oh, wow.
They're like, oh, we're going to name him Tommy, Mom. How can we not keep him? Yeah, because it's the name of the cafe.
Yeah.
So it was the mascot of Tommy Cafe, yeah. So that's...
Do you believe in pet therapy now that you've had your dog? Like, do you feel like he brings something like a calmness
Yeah,
to
I
you?
guess. Now I understand. Because
Yeah.
honestly, and I don't like saying that I'm a bit ashamed, but I used to laugh and say, okay, relax. You're always posting your dog.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I get it. Now he's sleeping in my bed, and I used to like freak out and be afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
So yes, I do believe it gives you something. It's like some unconditional love. So you just see them and you feel, a type of... I don't know. You feel loved automatically. It's just funny how I talk to them. I'm like, hi, Dimitra, and then I'm like, oh, hi, Dad. Like I don't even talk to the kids like that. Yeah. So it's good. It definitely is something that's been a bonus. It's also been a burden because it's a lot of work, but it's okay. We needed that experience. I never experienced it in my life, and I'm happy to. And my daughter does everything. She takes him to the vet. She's the real
carer.
Well, after how I told them I'm not keeping this dog, she promised me.
Okay.
But she came through. It wasn't
And she
like
kept
one of
her
those.
word,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
she's something else. Yeah, it's really her dog.
How do you like that
I
color?
love it.
Yeah.
Would it be a double coat so it could be darker?
No, it would be just one coat because then we're gonna put the cat eye and you won't see under it really.
Okay.
So if you want to, we can do a test on one nail.
Sure.
And
or
then
can you put double coat, or it's going to be too much on it?
It could be too much, but
Okay.
I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. So
I love it. I always have very intense pink nails.
But it looks good.
It's so funny. I do my nails in my garage.
In your garage, that's a very special
friends that come over, because it's like right when I leave, my last thing.
Okay.
I have like 25 nail polishes, and they're all like a various pink. It's very bad, very bad.
It's like a rainbow of
Very
pink.
bad. I'm like, why do I buy these? I don't know why I'm doing it. It's just very bad.
Well,
even when you ask me, I'm like, please, like, go with pink.
But your manicure, like with regular polish, very well done.
It's become
honestly.
a habit now. I just know how to do it, and that's it. But honestly, it's not like what you're gonna do, and yours lasts. So I'm very excited to be doing it the right way.
Switch, yeah. And I'm gonna show you what it's gonna look like, but you'll see there's not gonna be transparency. This is called a velvet or cat eye. And what is beautiful about this is that you move the sparkles with a magnet. So you can either make like a little line design or...
I love it, actually.
It looks
we don't need any double coat.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
But you can go like this. And I'm just going to make sure that they see it on the camera.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, that is so cool.
And then you can...
I love it.
And that's what it would look like. Do you like
that?
I
love it. No, honestly, it's so nice.
It's a sparkle with a dimension.
Yeah.
Which that's what I like about cat eye and
very
velvet.
Nice.
All right, it's approved?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. You can put it in the machine then.
Perfect. So one by one you do here?
Yes. Now that we know that the color is approved, we're gonna be...
Amazing.
I'm gonna be able to do all your nails at once.
Perfect.
And,
okay, nice.
Bring it a little forward for me.
Yeah.
Right. What kind of dog did you...
Shih Tzu Poodle mix.
Okay, so it's a small dog.
Yeah, it's small
good.
at least. Yeah. Like a dark brownish, a little bit of gray brown.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's cute. So
and did you have him like as a puppy?
Yes, from birth.
Oh, really?
It was a tiny little mouse-looking thing.
Yeah.
So we got to train him, and it's been a journey. It's like having another child. I don't know if you have. Do you have a pet?
I have a pet. I've had a pet for 13 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, my dog is 15. I had her when she was 2.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah.
Fluffy.
I think that's one of the reasons I didn't want a pet, because I don't want to live through that loss. I hate, who likes loss, but I really hate it. And I'm like, why would I put myself through that? Now it's over it. I have to go through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, unless I go before him, which it will.
Well, it never. That's the thing with life, is that you never know how these things happen.
Exactly.
I've known people that they've had like 1 cardiac arrest and they're like out. But I know people that had 3 of them and they're still alive with a pacemaker. And it's like you cannot control these things in life.
I have it in my own life. 2 cousins I lost from cancer. One 48 and 56.
Wow.
And I have my granny who's 94. And I'm like, look at life, you could go all the way, or you could you need to enjoy. That's been a lesson too. I'm like, you can't just focus on work. you need to live your life. So sometimes I'm like, oh, should we do this? Like, well, we'll go away for 5 days. I'm like, should I be leaving the store? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go. I'm going to go because I don't know what can come tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like, take that vacation.
Yes. So I live my life a lot like that. I'm like, but listen, I also have been taught you need to save. You can't just be living in la la land. You need to save and prepare for your future. That's a hard lesson I had in my life because of my experience with my divorce. You know, you think everything is perfect and peachy, and then you realize, oh no, it's not, you know, and COVID was a lesson like that too. You're like, oh, you think you have your great business and all of a sudden everything is gone overnight.
Exactly.
So it taught me to prepare, save and whatever. But at the same time, you cannot just do that. You need to live life because you just don't know where it's going to get.
Yeah.
It's not even about you not being well. Something else can happen. Like my parents were living it. My granny came to an age where she's not okay now. She needed heavy duty caregiving. So my mom, they could not leave for like the last 3 years. It was the hardest thing we've seen in our own family. So finally we put her in an old age home, which has been another difficult thing on its own.
Yeah.
You see, that was a question before. You're like, it's not just the balance of kids in this. There's things that you don't expect.
Yeah.
And this one has been so harsh on our family because obviously my mom did not want to put her there. No one did, but she couldn't just be a nurse anymore.
No.
So that's been something I've added in. We need to visit her, take care of her, help her adjust. And that made me realize, oh, wait a second. I'm thinking I'm going to live in my future. And then something like this will happen. My parents will need me. So you just do not know at all. You need to live in the moment because you don't know what can come tomorrow. You just don't.
And, you know, like with COVID, like we were stuck inside, like, and you know, it's and same thing like with with your parents that you know they could not leave for a while because you know they have a responsibility to your grandmother. And it's like I think that sometimes if you don't do the things that you want in the moment, and then when you cannot do them anymore, you will resent maybe yourself, but also whatever is happening to you.
100%.
And you will not be living your present moment at its full potential, I think.
Exactly. I agree with that completely. And that's one thing I've learned, like being older, that you just cannot assume or plan. I mean, you need to plan somewhat. You need to protect yourself, but you just cannot know. Even divorcing for me, again, coming from a Greek family, you do not ever assume that's going to happen. You're like, no, this is it. You know, you marry for life. And we disconnected along the way. We changed. I changed a lot. I was very young when I met him.
It's a very brave thing to do, to separate from a marriage, especially like when you have kids in the middle. And it's hard to take that decision. You can switch.
Very hard to do to them. I felt I was doing something to them. So that's been very hard. And I still live with that. A lot of guilt to make sure I'm there for my children because I feel like I let them down, even though, you know, they're used to it, left and right, there's divorce, but you feel a big burden. That's a big thing to deal with when you're a woman, I think. Like, I don't know how men feel when they separate. I'm sure it's very hard for them too, but a woman feels guilty a lot, I find. I have a lot of guilt.
Well, you can only speak from your perspective as a woman at this point, like of the things.
I think it's also my personality. Some people are stronger. I get a lot of guilt. I don't like disappointing anyone. I want everybody to be okay with me. So that's a tough one in my life. I think I need to let go of that because that's sort of the like caring what everybody thinks. It falls under that category. And that's something I need to work on. But generally I'm okay. Like I'm also, you know, a living life person and I do get selfish. I'm like, no, I have to do something for myself and, you know.
And also, you know, like you touched a really important point that, you know, that guilt that you're feeling is not from you necessarily, but other people around you. But if you are happy with that decision and you think that it was the right thing for you to be happy. It's what matters really because you cannot be make other people happy and not make yourself happy because it's not genuine.
No, it's not. And you cannot live life like that. You'll never. And so many people do, especially I find in the European culture, we're like well, no, you know, everybody is going to say something or this and that. Like we need to get over that. That's very unhealthy. And it's hard though to get over it, you know, because you've been sort of raised like that too.
Well, it's kind of like the essence of your culture, or maybe like the mindset of your family and the country you come from.
Yeah, and yet they've been so supportive. Like I was even afraid of my dad. My dad is a tough man, like a very proud man. So I was like, oh no, I cannot tell my dad I'm divorcing, even though I was like 40 something. But in the end, he was the biggest supporter, I find, because he wants his child to be happy.
Of course.
So everybody has been there, my sister, and it's fine. Even my kids are good. I'm very close with my kids. They're close with their dad. So life goes on, you know, you figure it out. But Tommy, that was another thing that saved me. I needed that. Or I would just sit home and think of all my, what happened to my life. And I came to a point where I'm so happy with my life, you know, I feel good where I'm at. So that helped me because it gave me confidence. It gave me pride to own something on my own.
How does it feel?
It feels really good. I can't explain it honestly. I think that's part of owning a business. It gives you a sense of accomplishment, the control of your own life, to be able to control, to pay your bills, to you know, support your family. There's something really wonderful about that. That's another thing. I thought I was, I'm great. We're great economically. When I divorced, I'm like, I only had a joint credit card. And no matter what money you might have in the bank, I realized I had not created anything on my own. I'm like, wow, how did I go so many years where I thought I was in control of my life, but really I was not.
Not at all.
And that was another rewarding thing of getting into business. I was like, no one can affect me now. Like I'm in control of my life, you know.
I'm doing
even in a partnership, like I'm so in love with the person I'm with, but I don't depend on him. And that really feels nice. Total advice to my kids, I'm telling them. I'm like, take care of yourself, be, you know, self-sufficient. Because a lot of people go into marriages and they don't leave a marriage because they're afraid, because they need to depend on the partner. And like the greatest feeling is to be independent and to be able to support your own self. And it's very rewarding.
It's kind of like, I think it's, if you know you are self-sufficient and you decide to make the decision to stay or to leave of a situation or a relationship or just a business, you know that the reason why you are staying is because you choose to, not because you cannot leave. And
exactly. And I hear so many people that do it for the wrong reason. And it's just not fair. That's not a life to be living.
No.
So a lot of lessons along the way.
Tina, do you have any self-care ritual that for you like to accomplish in moments where you feel like everything is coming to you, or that you like to celebrate with wins? Something that you do for yourself, like a reward?
Honestly, I'm very big on travel. If I get to go somewhere, it's like so fulfilling for me. I'm a very routine person. When you get to meet me, it's like, you know where to come find and kill me. I just do the same things. I like to I don't want to change houses or bedroom or this or that. Like my car is the same for like 8 years. Anyway, so I like that. But why am I saying this? I used to always go to the same two places. We would either go back home, Greece, where we have a home in my village. It's on the water. It's really spectacular, but still it was the same. Or a Florida break. So I wouldn't go anywhere. I had never been anywhere in the world except, gorgeous places. But my husband at the time gets a free trip because he was running a hockey team. He was running a Greek association hockey team. But here, like not in Greece. It was the Canadian Greek association.
That makes more sense.
It wasn't grand or anything, but still it had some funding and it was nice. So they had a tournament in Switzerland. So he's like, listen, I have free tickets for the family Switzerland. And I'm like, Switzerland in June? We're going to Greece in July. Who wants to do this? I was crazy. Who would say that? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. When I got there and I saw what a gorgeous country, I'm like, why have I not traveled in my life? It was like this awakening and I loved it. And I'm like, there's so many gorgeous places in the world. So ever since then, it would always be a mini trip somewhere. So before Greece would stop, Barcelona or Paris.
It's
Portugal.
Right there too.
It's not that far. So a lot of extra touring, and that, to me, I don't know, I just absolutely love traveling. I find that's what makes me detach. It makes me happy. I look back at my pictures. I get the memories from the moment. So I think that's the best reward for me. I like that. I mean, who doesn't like to shop? Yeah, I like a nice purse.
Of course.
I'm a bit of a shopaholic, but that's not true fulfillment. You know, that's just fun to reward yourself with something. I do like things. Yeah, I'm not going to say. But the true fulfillment more would be a nice getaway you know, other than the, of course, normal things like a nice bonding day with the kids or your person or your family. I'm very family oriented. We're very tight. I'm very tight with my sister. So I'm lucky. I'm lucky from that. Yeah, I'm very tight with my people, and I need that. Like, it's very important to me.
It's important to have like a support system. Like when you're a business owner, do you feel like your other family members, like your father, well, he had his brothers, right? To like, so that's something. I actually don't have anyone, and that is a little scary because I don't have a partner. Yeah. But my person right now, like my boyfriend, he is my support. Yeah. So I'm very lucky. But he's not actually involved himself in that business. So it's still more or less me making all the decisions. Yeah. I'm grateful for my kids. They're so there for me. They come and work. I even talk to them about advice. Yeah. You know, I value their opinion very much. But it's more me. That one's a tough one sometimes. I'm like, okay, I want to turn to someone and tell them, can you call someone to fix the ice machine? I don't know who to call. But I talk about the ice machine because it's given me trauma. It's ruined too many times. I've had to go buy ice. Like, this ice machine. I feel like it happened a lot last summer.
Yeah, you know, we would run to buy bags. It's like, what is happening?
But a couple weeks ago, somebody said something about the ice machine, and I was like, no.
No. Don't talk about it. It better not. Anyway, so sometimes I wish there was someone, because definitely, you're asking about my family. My family is amazing emotional support. I'm going to give my parents what they helped me economically along the way. They were the type of people that helped me buy my home. Yes. Everybody. Grateful to them till eternity. But at this point, no, they're not really my support. They're just my emotional support. Like if I need something, they're always there. Like, you know, whether it was babysitting younger or my sister talking to me to make me feel better. Yeah. But for the actual business, no, I would say it's more or less Peter who I'm with.
Well, he's a business owner too.
Yeah, and he's amazing. He's a very calm person. So me, who's like all wired and I'm calling and, crying about the Wi-Fi, he's like, this is not a big problem. Yeah. We're going to do it. So I calm down, So that's great. He's really balances me out and doesn't get dramatic about things. I'll be, oh my God, 2 workers are not going in. He's like, okay, it's fine, So that's been very helpful because he tones me down from my anxiety. Yeah.
Well, it's also, I think it's very different when, personally, like when somebody who goes through the same experiences you tells you to calm down than somebody that, I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, that doesn't really had a business.
They would piss me off, actually. Go away, you don't know what I'm talking about.
But they said the same thing, but like for some reason you believe one more than the other.
I guess also because I love him and, I look up to him, but... No, it's deeper. It's because he's really ran a lot of businesses in his life. He still does. And he's even worked from the bottom positions to up. Okay, so it's not just being an owner. He worked from the kitchen like crazy. So he knows every position. Yeah. So being an owner was a big journey for him to get there. And he's done really well, so I value his opinion. But the same with my dad. Like my dad, his word to me is everything. Like I value and respect what he's accomplished in his life. He came from nothing. Yeah. We're talking finished elementary and moved here. Okay. He still says I had, I don't know, I think he says I had $17 in my pocket. Oh yeah. That type of thing. That type of story. And he's like, I used to go home at 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. I was doing this. I would do delivery. And it's something you have to admire because then he ended up creating a whole franchise from nothing. Yeah. So for me, I admire that a lot because I didn't have to do anything like that. So I sort of say, wow, how did you accomplish that? I feel way more spoiled than what they have lived through. So, and feel grateful that I was able to have that background to get to where I am now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On a separate note, like of business and all that, you mentioned before we started the interview that you lived in Greece when you were
which was
a
also
teenager.
Hard. Yeah. My dad was I want to go back home.
Okay.
Which all immigrants, they come here supposedly to make some money and go back home. So he really wanted this. So he did it twice. If I really tell you the story, it's crazy because we picked up everything. I'm talking furniture, containers moving all your life twice. Who does that? We tell our mother, Mom, you or something else. Because she was, and I contribute the success to my dad, to my mom, because she's a very calm, accepting person. And she just went with what he thought was right. So I lived there from 1980 to 83, which I was very young. I was elementary, and then back 87 to 90. So I did grade 7, 8, and 9 there. So that was another thing that has affected my life, right? It was hard because I had to break my school in the middle, lose the friends, new friends. You're the new girl. Even when I came back in grade 10, I was again the new girl.
Yeah. What did you have people from your previous moving that were still?
I did. Even the street, because we actually kept the house and they had rented it, so that was a good thing. So yeah, I did have friends, but not really. I was still, and I wasn't me. This person now that you see, I'm very loud and social and whatever. I was a very shy, slightly insecure person. I tell my kids, I go, guys, I was a nerd. They're like, yeah. They still think I'm a nerd, but whatever. Now I'm much more social and
bubbly.
I have friends all my life. Then I was scared, shy. I don't know why. I was not. I was very insecure. I guess everyone is in high school, but I feel I was more. So it was tough because I was coming into new schools, whether it was Greece or here. So that was a lesson too, that you have to learn. But it was good. I learned my Greek well, but that made me lack my French. That's why my French is not top.
Okay.
Because I didn't go to a French immersion. I came back, I went into English school, so that's been tough. But thank God for the workforce in Quebec. You get to learn it anyways.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm okay. I could communicate, but it bothers me that I don't know it perfect, because when you're educated and you know how to speak and you're not able to communicate in a language, it's bad. I made my kids go to French school to not have that problem. I wanted to make sure they knew all 3 languages.
But you did something that I think with your experience, speaking French is important in some way, but you did live in Greece, and that probably taught you a lot more about your own culture
100%
than the one you were born into.
I learned my Greek very well. I have a tremendous love for Greece. I want to go every year because it's a second home. And actually, it was more what I just said, the experience of being the new person and having to deal with those challenges. That was a lesson.
Do you think it helped you develop the personality that you have today in some way?
Maybe. I think so. I don't know if it added to my insecurity because I was scared because it was new school twice, or whatever. Elementary was horrible. They hadn't even taught me English. I'm like, Mom, what is wrong with you? My mom is fully Anglophone. She went to Chambéry High, and I'm like, you brought me here at 5 years old and I didn't know English or whatever. I think I was 7. I don't know what I'm saying now. I was older. But I was struggling, and the Greek students in the English elementary were helping me communicate. Okay. So forget French. I didn't even know English when I got here. So there's been a lot of challenges. Yeah, but it's okay. That's what makes you what you are. You have to go through all that. But generally, I shouldn't say challenges. I've had I'm lucky. I've had a lucky life. I haven't struggled heavily. Some things have been painful, but you hear some stories, and I'm like, generally, I'm lucky.
You had your obstacles that you had to surmount, and here you are now today.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about it and getting your nails done.
And they're stunning, and they match my jacket.
Yes, they're gonna go perfectly.
I'm so happy. They really, really look gorgeous. You're amazing.
Thank you.
And I don't know how you were talking, and I didn't even feel you were doing it. Yeah. I'm having a blast here talking. I could talk till tomorrow.
Well, come again then.
I know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Thank
Tina.
you. I appreciate it. I love it. And anytime, I'm very thankful that you asked me to come and speak with you.
Well, it's a weekend of Grand Prix, so you're probably gonna go out tonight.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we have a friend here from New York, so we're like, we gotta entertain him, right?
Of course. Yeah. Oh no, what a burden! Entertain them on Formula One.
Yeah, yes. I would go out anyways, probably on a Saturday.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a lovely evening.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.